So yeah, we're about a week away from the race. I cannot wait. My mind is going crazy right now, thinking of all the things we have to do. So I came out for a run in the morning, kind of find some peace of mind before we get into the busy day. But thank you guys. Thank you so much. Over the next week, if you guys could share the project, we're working on raising kind of the last little bit. So if you guys could share it online, that'd be great. Or if you just know someone who you're like, dude, this is a film, it sounds like you'd like it, sounds like it's up your alley, email them. That'd be awesome. We'd appreciate it so much. So thank you for all the support, and yeah, let's get into the campaign update. But first, look at this, dude. This is my favorite mile stretch in Denver, because you can kind of just, you've been going uphill this whole time, now you can go downhill. It's great. It's the best.
I wanted to give a quick campaign update for our Indiegogo campaign. We are about a week out from it concluding. I'm so blown away by the support. I just wanted to thank all of you guys. I really appreciate it. Truly, you are incredible. Thank you. Thank you for supporting my dream and our dream to go out and really do this race justice. I wanted to share a couple things just to give you guys more of an idea of what the film will be exploring. So what I'm going to share right now is a little excerpt from my podcast with Paul Shearing. Paul is the director of our film. His story from his first year of competing is really powerful. And I think these are the stories that we're out there seeking and we're hoping to explore. So enjoy, Paul. He's a wise man. Yeah.
There's something in depriving yourself of the comforts of day-to-day existence and, suffering that just evokes insight. For our purposes, with this documentary, it's about, exertion in the heat and in the desert. And, is that a long day, the Rose Garden?
The Rose Garden, yeah. There's no
That's
roses. It's
No.
jagged rocks. Spoiler alert for our own movie.
So 2 years ago, I ran out of water on that because that's the longest stretch between aid stations, and that was the hottest day of the year that year. And, it was 10 miles, I think, and I was fascinated by the fact that 1 minute I had water, and I was at the bottom of Rose Garden, which is this kind of canyon that below the high plains of the desert, and so it's not subject to the cooling winds that are so wonderful when you're sweating and dying in the heat. It's just dead air, right? And you go down in there, and it's just, talk about a crucible. I mean, a literal crucible. You're just baking in there. And I went from having water and thinking, okay, I've only got 4 more miles to the aid station, no problem at all, to drinking it all because my mouth was drying so rapidly. And I finished my last drop. I'm like, well, I still got 3.5 miles, I'll be fine. And within finishing my last drop, it was just, my mouth dried up instantly and my head started swimming. Must have been the early stages of heat exhaustion, right? Like I realized that I probably had 60% of my mental capacity, and huge tracts of words in my vocabulary were suddenly just unavailable to me. And I always get emotional talking about this, but a guy I didn't know looked after me, and he saw I was in trouble, and he had 1 bottle of water left, right? And he had 3.5 miles to go, and it was not a big bottle of water. And he said, you take it. And he insisted that I take the whole thing. And it was such a profound moment of like grace, right? I mean, he's literally giving me the shirt off his back, right? And it was in that deepest depth of pain and struggle and, and haziness, right? I couldn't even see straight. I couldn't think straight. And I needed help. Right. And men are so, not good at that, asking for help. And this guy, and I wasn't the Walking Dead. I wasn't stumbling around, but he saw enough of me to know that it was better that I had his water than him. That's worth the price of admission. Meeting that guy in that moment, and seeing what the human heart is capable of His name is Scott Scarapinto, and he lives in Florida. And God bless you, man.
I just love that so much. It really encapsulates the spirit of community in trail running and ultra running, and I just think that was obviously a very special, significant moment in Paul's life, and I think he shares it in such a beautiful way. There are a couple ways to support us. If you haven't backed the project yet, but you're like, oh, this does sound like something I'd be interested in watching, like essentially at the $25 level, you're just buying the film before it's made. So you'll get the film when it's released, which will be a while. It takes a while, the editing process, but you'll get the film when it's out there. If you want to support it at that level, that's great. We have other levels as well. Check those out. And then the other way to support it that is huge right now, especially during this last week, is just sharing it with other people. If you know people who you're like, wow, they would be interested in this type of story, this type of adventure, maybe they would connect to the themes that we're shooting for here, just send it out to them, send them an email, tell them about it, share it on social media, just get the word out is kind of what we're looking for over this next week. And like I said, we really appreciate all of you guys. I know for me in my life, the people who are the why not people, the people who are the supporters, they're the people that really bring a joy to the world, because it's like, then it makes it seem like nothing is impossible, because they're the ones that are out there, like, egging you on almost, where you're like, hey, I think I want to make an adventure documentary. And they're like, yeah, you totally should. That'd be awesome. Those kind of people are the people that make life worth living. And I really appreciate all of you guys for being why not people. I love it so much. So we'll get back at you before we head out into the desert to film. And then after we wrap up shooting, I'll be sharing a bunch of stuff on here. For the people who have supported the project, I'll be sending out little updates, hopefully with a lot of really amazing footage and things like that. And maybe some like behind the scenes, like, figuring out how to shoot a documentary in the desert kind of thing. So, all right. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it.